engines. They run your lawnmower, your marine motors, maybe even your motorcycle. With twice the power of a standard four-stroke, two-stroke engines are smaller and simpler, but they're also dirty, producing up to 10 times more pollution than the equivalent four-stroke. And because of their design, cleaning them up is an engineering challenge. This New Zealand two-stroke promises to be cleaner and more efficient. It's a radical rethink, replacing the traditional piston with a wedge.
The major thing would be that the piston's under control with this motor. It's not relying on just a hole that it's sliding up and down. This thing's actually held by a pivot.
Pollution from traditional two-strokes comes from unburned fuel and from burnt lubrication oil, giving them their characteristic blue smoke. Its developers say the pivotal engine will minimise fuel wastage and could use up to 10 times less oil.
The two-stroke has advantages, but let's design an engine that makes use of those advantages without the detriment of losing control over the gas flow.
Round pistons leak unburnt fuel because of their shape. Fuel gas has to fill the circular chamber before compression. But at the edges, gas escapes from the exhaust port unburnt before the middle of the chamber is filled. But with a rectangular piston, all fuel gas travels the same distance, so the combustion chamber fills without any leakage.
It's all coming around and getting to the exhaust port at the same time, so you can control the cut-off point much more accurately.
The pivotal engine also needs less lubrication because the piston doesn't apply any pressure to the engine wall. It's anchored by the pivot.
You're not having to put in enough oil to lubricate a whole cylinder. You're only having to put oil just to lubricate the points that are in contact with the surface of the chamber.
The pivot design also promises longer wear, unlike traditional two-strokes, which develop inefficient piston slap as the round pistons wear out.
That's a fairly normal piston for a two-stroke engine. Consequently, being held at a pivot point here for the small end, it has some rock, and of course you hear that when you turn the engine over, and you can hear piston slap to some degree or another when you hear the engine running.
50 years. 17 years. The motor industry is notoriously conservative. It's expensive to reinvent the wheel. The rotary engine, for example, was first designed in 1954, but wasn't a domestic reality for another 17 years. And front-wheel drive was first mass-produced by Citroën in 1934, but it took 50 years before it became the most popular means of getting power from the engine to the wheels.
The pivotal engine will be further refined before official testing reveals just how much cleaner this engine will be. But this twin-chamber prototype proves the design will work.
Ultimately, we'll just see more diversity of engines for different applications, and I'm sure that this will be one of the leading ones. We have some very interested manufacturers. It's obviously going to take a little bit longer before we see an automobile on the road, but potentially an outboard boat engine might not be so far away.
I think we're on to a winner.
Query complete.